Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Sharon Horne-Ellstrom, also known as Pajama Grandma. And yes, I am still in my pajamas today, and I'm not even going to apologize for it. I tweaked my wrist doing laundry, so I'm just like slow, and I don't even want to get dressed today. I'm sure I will, but not for a couple hours. I've got another interview later today. And today we have the beautiful Esther Yunkin with us. She is a registered nurse from an organization called The Whole You. And she's going to tell us all about what she does. And I'm really excited to hear about it because she takes a very holistic approach to our health and our wellness. And you know, I'm all about that. So welcome, Esther. If you could just tell us a little bit about you, your story, why you got involved in this, and a little bit more about your business, that would be terrific.
Yeah. So I am Esther. From the time I was about 3 years old, I wanted to be a nurse. Your career dreams change, but mine always stayed in the helping field, and it always stayed in medical. So straight out of high school, I went to college, became a nurse, and I've been a nurse now for, 17 years. And most of that has been in the ER. And I just got sick and tired of helping people put like Band-Aids on chronic problems. And as somebody who has dealt with chronic pain yourself, you know that you don't want a Band-Aid. You want to get to the root of it. You want to actually heal, and you want to actually transform your health, not just patch it up until the next ER visit. So I went back to school. I did that a couple years ago, and now I am a holistic health coach, and I love it because instead of just dealing with just the physical or just the mental, which is pretty much all the Western medicine does, I help people focus on the physical, the mental, and the spiritual, and the nutritional, and the environmental. Because when you bring it all together, you can transform your life. And that's what I am all about. So other than that, I am a mom of 4 boys. And of course, I've got a wonderful husband. We live on a little hobby farm. We have like 28 or 30 chickens. So we get all the eggs that we need. And we got a good garden. So it's a lovely life. I'm very blessed.
Wonderful. So have you yourself had any issues with chronic pain or illness, or just the experiences that you've seen from others?
A little bit of both. I would say mostly it's been dealing with trying to help people through the ER. And then the catalyst on this journey for me was my youngest, who is now 4. When he was just a baby, he was covered head to toe with eczema. And so that was like the catalyst that I had to go back to the 5 pillars and figure out our family, like what we could do to fix him, because lotions and cream, that's just a Band-Aid. It's not going to fix the problem. As for myself, I have only had one problem with chronic pain, and that was after my 3rd son was born. During the C-section, they pushed so hard on my abdomen to get him out. They damaged a nerve, and it was related to a muscle. So anytime I leaned forward, that muscle would spasm, which is really bad in the ER when you're starting an IV on a toddler and you're leaning forward and trying to hold the baby still and trying to get this IV. And all of a sudden you have this cramping, spasming, take your breath away pain. And that lasted for quite a while. I still get it occasionally, but of course, you know, incorporating all those 5 pillars and different modalities to help, thankfully, I have had relief from that.
That's wonderful. So when you get a new patient, first, I guess I want to know, how do people find you and how do they become a patient of yours? What is kind of just a summary of the process that you would take them through?
Right. Good question. Most of my clients find me through Facebook, actually, or word of mouth. And when they find out about me, first they schedule just a free session to get to know me, because you don't want to hire somebody who you don't have, that trust factor with. You've gone to see doctors and you're just hopping into their office. You don't know who they are. You don't know if you're going to mesh well. And that's kind of awkward. And I don't want that awkwardness for my clients and I. So we have a free discovery session. I call it my holistic health strategy session to see if it will help somebody. And then we embark on a 3-month journey together. We incorporate all 5 aspects of the whole you. And within that, we make small, simple goals But when you're incorporating all 5 pillars, transformation happens with simple changes. It's amazing.
I had a flare last year that was really bad, and I found that I had done things for my diet that I thought were good for my heart, which they were, but it turns out there's this thing about eating for your blood type, which I knew nothing about. And when I incorporated those changes, I could get out of bed again and walk. But I had a really bad time last year, all because I was ignoring my diet. Well, I wasn't ignoring it, but I was doing the wrong things for it, because there's so much misinformation out there.
There is so much. You're correct. It's overwhelming.
So do you think, based on your experience, you've seen one main thing that is negatively impacting people the most, or is it just kind of all 5 things and different for everybody?
Yeah, I would say that the one main thing that's impacting people is they focus on just one thing. Because if you're focusing on just the pain, the physical pain, you're neglecting so much else that could help. And
Right.
so I think that's the main problem. And it's not like individuals specifically, it's our culture. It's what we grew up in. It's Western medicine. It's what you've told from the beginning, when you're a baby. And so it's nobody's fault. But I would say that's definitely the number one mistake, is just focusing on that one thing, which is just the pain.
That's awesome, because I just had this discussion with my son-in-law yesterday, because he's got chronic pain and he's been struggling, emotionally and physically with it. But the only thing he's been doing is going the medical route and doing doctors. And I'm like, there's a lot more to what you can be doing than this. And so I'm going to be having him listen to this. He's going to the doctor right now, but he'll be listening to this afternoon. It's because then he won't think that it's just me telling him that. It's kind of like your own kids. They're like, okay, but mom said it, so is it true or not? It might be just her trying to get me to do something.
Right.
Do you have any favorite patient stories or anything that you could share with us?
I do. I have one client, and she was dealing with some arthritis issues. She's very young, and hers is an autoimmune arthritis. And we incorporate all 5 pillars, but sometimes like one pillar is weaker than another. Think of, a 3-legged stool or a 5-legged. You can have it so you can sit on it, even though one leg is like way short. It's just awkward. But when you balance up that one short leg, everything is better. So with her, we focused on the diet. And actually, within just a couple weeks of getting some micronutrients back in her diet and supplementing, she was having so much less pain. Her quality of life was better. She said, I'm living my life. And so that's
Right.
the goal, right? To live your life.
Absolutely. Yeah, that happened last year. Same thing, was inflammation, and diet was the one thing, because I've been doing everything for a lot of years, but diet, somehow that had gotten out of whack, and that changing that one pillar, like you said, kind of built that leg up again. And I went in like 2 weeks. I couldn't get out of bed. Literally, I couldn't make it to the bathroom. I was shopping for Depends. Well, I wasn't. I was having people shop for them, and I'm like, I am not wearing Depends. I'm old, but I'm not that old yet. So a nutrition friend of mine turned me on to the eating for your blood type diet. And within 2 weeks, amazing how things that you wouldn't even think could make a huge difference in your life absolutely do.
Yeah, it's incredible.
So I want to really ask, how do you do it with 4 boys? But I don't know if that's on topic. I had 2 kids that I was like always running around like a chicken with my head cut off. So I just, wow.
It's no big deal. They, the more kids you have, the more they can entertain each other. So
I do think that's true.
Yeah.
I actually do. My sister's got an only child, and she's always been commiserating about how, because they don't have anybody else. They just have their parents and their friends, but it does make a difference. I know, I'm glad I had 2. I was always going to have 4. And then after my hands ran out, I decided no more kids. So, too much activity. So how can people get a hold of you, and what do you recommend for them if they are struggling and want to get some help? Because I think you would be awesome to work with.
Yeah. So they can just head over. I'm not sure if my page is linked below this, but I can link my
It will be, but watch this. I learned how to do something cool. I think it'll work. Show. Oh, I hit check instead of show. I think it'll show your link.
Oh, there it is.
Woohoo!
All right. So yeah, there's my website. You can just hop on there. Once you get to my website, it'll have like a drop down pop up, and I think it's an healthy eating guide. So if you sign up for that, you'll be on my email list, or you can ignore it and then just hop over to free consult, and you can set up that free holistic health strategy discussion. And I am working on. I have a really boring handout. This is what I made for some of my clients, and it's just about pain and nutrition, and I'm working on making it prettier. So if anybody wants that, you can just send me a message just through my Facebook page, The Whole You Nurse, and I can get that out to you. Just send me a message right through Facebook.
Wonderful. You guys, I'll tell you right now, that is a huge value, and if you can do one thing that makes you feel better, it's worth doing that. I'm going to keep this on here. I'll just keep it scrolling. I think it'll keep scrolling. Okay. It's funny, what I can see and what actually shows up is two entirely different things sometimes. So do you have any other words of wisdom for us?
Yeah. So one thing that I think people forget about is the emotional aspect of pain. And obviously you're not forgetting about it because it's impacting you every single day. The pain itself, that's physical. But the emotional is how you feel about how you feel. So you can't always change those physiological signals. Like when I am in the middle of starting an IV on a toddler and I get that pain and that cramping, like I can't necessarily change that in the moment, but I can change how I'm feeling about it. And if I start to get that cramp and that pain, if I get all anxious and if I start focusing on that pain, the sensation of pain is going to increase, and my focus on the task at hand is going to decrease. So one thing that is easy to do in the moment is just take a really deep breath from your belly, that diaphragmatic breathing, and do that like 10 times. And when you breathe from your belly instead of from your chest, you're sending signals to your whole body to relax. And it can help with pain. I'm not saying it's a magic cure, but it can help with pain. And it can help with that emotional side of pain, the way you feel about how you feel. So that's just a simple tip, a simple takeaway. You can practice that at any time, day or night, and it helps.
That's fabulous. And you've had 4 kids, so you know that. And any of us that have had children know that that works. I mean, breathing is important, and it's kind of the core to everything. So yeah, and I think we forget to breathe when we're having pain or intense flares or things. You do find that you're breathing in your chest and not all the way down into your belly and your diaphragm. Yes. I don't like the word belly. I don't know why. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. And I'll be in touch for sure. And I might be sending my mom your way because she's got a little issue that we need her to get some balance with.
All right.
She's got some challenges, and my sisters and I are trying to get her to talk to somebody besides us because, of course, she doesn't think we know anything because we're her daughters.
Your family, right?
I don't know. Yeah, and family. It's amazing, isn't it? It's so interesting how our family doesn't think we know anything, even though we might have studied something for decades. It's really funny.
Right. We're never an expert to our family.
Exactly. But, a mile outside your hometown, you're like the expert of the world. That's what I like about the internet. I can be an expert whether my family believes I am or not. Thank you so much for joining us, Esther, and enjoy the hobby farm and the chickens.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
All right. You have an awesome day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.